everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today on our Friday review, I always do enjoy these Friday reviews, I'm going to bring you some of my favorite books, my favorite juice that I've been doing a lot of lately, an allergy protocol that's absolutely needed this time of the year especially, and a new olive oil that's actually more like a supplement than it is an actual dressing or olive oil that you can still use the same exact way but get even more benefits from. So pretty excited to get started, excited to bring you all of these protocols. In the allergy protocol was actually by request, so it's that time of the year, we might as well talk allergies. So allergies are an interesting thing. So we have seasonal allergies, we have food allergies. We're really talking about environmental, seasonal-based allergies or year-round allergies right now. So you can get your allergies tested by doing blood work, by doing a skin prick test, any one of those things. But here's the issue. The reason why allergies come about, so like the deep underlying root causes, there's an issue typically with the microbiome. There's an imbalance of gut bacteria. There's yeast overgrowth. There's bacterial overgrowth. There's intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut. And you have proteins, you have molecules actually spewing out of the 28 feet or so of gut intestinal tract into your blood. And that's causing an immune system-based reaction. A lot of times what's called a Th2 immune dominance. And that means like your immune system's just imbalanced. And it's imbalanced because every time you eat, you have these proteins, these food-based particles, these foreign invaders from the outside world, which are supposed to stay contained in the gut and get broken down in the intestines and not make their way out whole into your bloodstream or coming out in enough of a way that your body detects them as foreign. That heightens the immune system and can leave you more susceptible to inflammation and allergies and these type of responses. That's really, really important. Another thing is people are getting worn down, they're getting burnt out, and that's why in little later in life when allergies shouldn't be maybe as strong, they're starting to get allergies in their 20s and 30s and 40s and maybe 50s. And why this is happening is sometimes when we get the lowered cortisol, we lower our levels of stress out, meaning that we have enough stress, but we're lowering the norepinephrine, we're lowering the adrenaline, and we're lowering the cortisol. When that happens, we don't have the same suppression of certain T cells. We don't have the same regulation of the immune system because we don't have enough cortisol, which, again, is a good thing. It is important. And cortisol acting as an anti-inflammatory itself, which is why a lot of the allergy medication that you do see, what's it say on the back? What is it? Specifically, a lot of them are to push norepinephrine. They're to push the same substance that your adrenal medulla would produce enough of when under the fight or flight, but we get worn down. Eventually, stress gets to us. Our bodies have had enough. And at that point, we can't keep up with demand. And at that point, we might start to see a rise in allergies. All of these things are very, very important. So that's what we have to fix in the long term, but what do we do in the short term? In the short term, well, let me just go back one other part. I'll move on. So in the short term, what we need to do is this. We need to clear our total toxic load as much as we can, which means that anything, whether it's a juice-based fast or a detox or any of those things, are going to help clear your total toxic load. Because you're not going to have as much food-based particles coming in because you're just going to stick to maybe green juices or maybe just ginger tea, or maybe you're doing the detox and you're the Dr. Ball detox and you're using 48 hours of a liquid-based, autophagy-based fast to clear your blood. It has less to react to. I mean, that's basically the bottom line. That's what autophagy is. That's what won the 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine. It's that powerful. I talk about it all the time. You know what? As health practitioners, we've been using that for quite a long time. It was the research, though, that's put it on the map, and I'm happy about that. I want everyone to know about this. That helps great. So that's helping in the short term, but eventually you have to eat food, right? So that's where we're going to clean up the gut. But let's talk about it because we don't want you to suffer from allergy symptoms. So I just posted this on Instagram. So check this out this week. Please go back to the post. You can just go to Instagram.com/Stephen Cabral if you're not already checking those out. And I gave all these great short-term things that you can do. For example, as I talked about, apple cider vinegar can help a lot of people. 2 tablespoons and about 6 ounces of water when you first wake up. It helps some people, doesn't work for others. That's okay. Stinging nettles. If you've never heard of that before, stinging nettles or nettles tea can work fantastically well as well. But what I want to do today is I also want to give you the allergy protocol we use so that when people are suffering, when their histamine levels are high, when their allergies are at their worst, what can you do to bring down that short-term allergic response while working on, obviously, the long-term microbiome and stress-based issues, adrenal-based issues that we're trying to fix. Okay, So in the short term, what I do is I use 3 products. All of them are centered around decreasing mast cell production or histamine-based reaction, cytokine-based reaction. So decreasing the things that cause the allergies. And I'm also wanting to give you natural antihistamines. So we're trying to decrease the things that produce the histamines, and we're trying to decrease the histamines that are already in the blood. And one thing that we know that's really important as well is that your gut, going back to the gut, when it's not functioning well, it doesn't produce enough of a natural enzyme. Remember, everything needs an enzyme to degrade all those other substances in the body. Everything needs an enzyme. If not, it floats freely in the body. Well, your gut produces something called diamine oxidase. And that's an enzyme that naturally degrades histamines. Histamines in foods, histamines in the environment, whatever it might be. But it has to get to your bloodstream. It has to be made first. So it's like serotonin. We always talk about serotonin. It's great. You want to be happy? You need good levels of serotonin. That's important. It's made in the gut. Eventually makes its way to the brain, but it's made in the gut. So again, it goes back to the gut for so many different things. We need to really work on, again, removing that yeast, removing the bacteria, sealing up the gut wall, adding back in then the good probiotics afterwards, and just rebalancing the microbiome. You do that now. Is it overnight? No, of course not. There's no quick fix. If someone's trying to sell you a quick fix, again, just immediately close that browser, move on to the next. That's it. Shut off the podcast, move on to the next, because there's no quick fix for real chronic-based health conditions, because you have to fix the underlying root cause. And the underlying root cause isn't like, you just missing this one thing. It's this one thing was Brazil nuts because you were missing selenium. It doesn't work that way. The body it's a very intricate system of checks and balances. The good news is it might take, 6 weeks to 12 weeks to maybe 16 weeks maximum before most people are well again. So we're not talking about a quick fix, but in the grand scheme of things, I consider that pretty quick. 12 to 16 weeks to get your health back, to lose all the weight you want, to feel great again. I don't think that's too much of a trade-off. I wish I had that, many, many years ago. I would have taken that rather than the 6 years or longer that it took to actually get well, but that's okay. We all have our own individual healing journey, and I certainly have mine. So let's go over the products, because again, I always just like to give you, this is what I do. And so what I want you to do is have the same access to what I use in my practice. So I use I use a combination of functional medicine-based products. I use food-based supplements. So the first one is called Allergy Response. All right, I'm going to link everything up in the show notes, so you'll get everything that you need. All right, I'll just go to today's show, I believe, is 434. So if you just go to stevencabral.com/434, you will get everything that you need in the show notes. And I just try to keep it on one easy page, obviously, for everyone to link back to. So here's the thing. There's some really great studies on food-based vitamin C, and there's some really great studies on ascorbic acid. So I like to use both. Why not? I mean, we have access to both. Let's use both. Okay, so this product is food-based, and they're also used, so the food-based vitamin C coming from calcium ascorbate, coming from food-based state, basically coming from oranges. So that's where they extract it from. But it's still an extract. I know, there's a lot of controversy over food-based supplements because it's not really food. It's an extraction from food. But anyway, we'll have that debate another day. So in addition to that, though, they have something called Tinospora. Tinospora has actually been shown to help re-regulate that immune system we were talking about, that healthy imbalance between the different branches of the immune system, and also reduce inflammation, especially in terms of this immune balance. Okay, another one, quercetin. You're going to see this show up multiple times in the products that I use. Why? Because it's hard to find a company to get you the 2 grams to 3 grams a day minimum that you need to really get the quercetin effect of lowering histamine levels to helping to balance healthy mast cell activity so you don't overproduce histamines. And that's why I use multiple products. But this quercetin is really, it's almost, if not one of the best go-to products for allergies. So much great research behind it. I mean, a plethora. You want to go on PubMed, you can spend most of your day reading about quercetin and all the great research behind it. That's why don't let anyone ever tell you that natural medicine doesn't have research behind it. Every single thing we talk about on the Cabral concept is backed up by research. It's just not pharmaceutical-based research. It's not patented. I don't own quercetin. I don't own natural food state vitamin C. I don't own the next thing, which is nettle leaf. I just talked about that. Nettle leaf, fantastic again for decreasing that inflammation response, for decreasing those histamines. Remember, you have to lower histamines to lower your immune response. One other nice thing in this product, which is fairly unique, Chinese skullcap. So, studies have shown that Chinese skullcap also helps to balance healthy inflammation the response to inflammation within the body, which is the prostaglandin inflammatory-based response, as well as to regulate those histamine levels. You'll hear me say that another half a dozen times in just a moment as we talk about the next one as well. And that's because really, that's what we're talking about. In the short term, you have what? Too many histamines floating around, right? We need to degrade those as much as possible. And then we need to make sure the body's not producing more of those histamines. So first, eliminate the histamines. Second, don't produce more. Okay, and that's why, like when you purchase the Allergy protocol from the Stephen Cabral store, what you're doing is you're also getting the protocol that I give people in my practice, of course, but you're getting the food list. Because people don't know it, but there's so many foods that contain histamines. And I always like to give you examples. So let's do some examples. Fermented foods. So we're eating sauerkraut and all these things. Well, they contain histamines, okay? Smoked foods, smoked salmon, processed meats, any of those things. Histamines. Leftovers, histamines. Anything pickled, histamines, which is why ACV works for some people and not for others. And then again, beyond that, there's also something called DAO blockers, so diamine oxidase blockers. So if you're drinking green tea, that can block histamine degradation. Black tea, again, block it. Alcohol block the degradation of these histamines. So, it's so important that we look at the total picture, not just supplements, but also food and supplements together. And then when you're feeling better, you can add these histamine-based foods back in. For example, like cinnamon and curries and things like that. Those can exacerbate histamines as well. All right, so the next product we use is Allergy. People are very, very familiar with this product. Been around a while by Vital Nutrients. Really nice product. Again, no one product did I find have everything that I need, but this one has the quercetin. It has a higher dose now of ascorbic acid, and it has bioflavonoids, which I like as well because they help the ascorbic acid work better because it makes it a more complete vitamin C. And it has bromelain. I really wanted a product with bromelain, and this is high-potency bromelain. Why do I like this? Because bromelain thins those mucus secretions. Really important. Bromelain coming from pineapple, it's an enzyme naturally. It's going to help degrade some of those proteins as well. You can take it away from meals if you'd like. Fantastic product, works great, and it works a little differently than the allergy response, which is what I just spoke about before. So they're synergists. They work better together, and neither one had enough quercetin, so I needed to combine multiple products, and I wanted to do that because now you get a blend of other nutrients besides quercetin. And the last product is good old vitamin C. Lots and lots and lots of vitamin C. How much vitamin C? As much as your body will tolerate until you get loose stool, which is basically essentially diarrhea. And that tells you, okay, your body can't handle any more of this vitamin C. It's water soluble. It's not harmful. You took in as much as your body could tolerate, and then you obviously have to drop the dosage a little bit. But vitamin C is one of the best, if not arguably besides quercetin, the best natural antihistamine. It works fantastically well. Again, so I only recovered from my allergies just a few years ago. It was kind of like the last stronghold, and it was brutal. I mean, I had to take 3 weeks off every spring. Some of the best weather in New England is the spring. It's kind of like late April, right around there. We get our first few days of nice weather. People are walking around. People are running around in T-shirts and shorts, even though they have no business running around in T-shirt and shorts because it's not that warm. But it feels like it because we go through some of the worst winters here, cold winds and all that. And I had to stay inside. I literally could not be outside because my eyes would get bright, bright red. They would get swollen shut. And it's painful. It's really dry and painful. They would get all glassy. And that was brutal. Very, very brutal for me. And it wasn't until I just get those last few tweaks with my microbiome, the last few sealing up that I needed, and just more detoxification. It just takes time. I mean, remember, I didn't grow up the healthiest that I could be. I had 3,000 pills of amoxicillin in my body. I swallowed more capsules of antibiotics than I would say like an entire town. And that was because of some misinformed dermatologist decided to put me on it for 3 years because of minor skin issues. I'm not mad. I'm no longer mad. A lot of self-work it took me to say that. But because obviously it allows me now to teach others. It allows me to share that. And, the truth is I feel better than I did when I was 17 years old. I really do. So it took a lot to get here. But now I can teach people how to get from however sick they are to really feeling great within a maximum of 3 to 6 months. It's not a bad trade-off. It really isn't, especially if you've been suffering for quite some time. So I really believe that Again, it's not a bad trade-off at all. Okay, I've spent obviously way too much time talking about my allergy protocol, but it's, again, I go off on tangents, and I really do love bringing this information, so I'll be a little faster on my next few. The next one is actually, it's called Oleo Blue. So, this is a product. It's called extra virgin olive oil. Many of you use extra virgin olive oil because it's something that I promote. It's something that I'm a big fan of. I believe olive oil, and I've read the research, is one of those foods that helps as an anti-inflammatory. It helps, shown as great research in the Mediterranean diet. And it's one of those foods that's a monounsaturated fat, easy to break down, really healthy for the body, as long as we don't go overboard, of course, like anything. Well, this product, Oleo Blue, is a little different. It comes in a bottle that almost looks like a nutritional supplement. And here's the reason why. They look at it as a nutritional supplement. Now, it's olive oil, but it has a very high what's called phenol potency level. Okay, phenols, they're basically compounds in fruits and vegetables that are very high in antioxidants and very high in electrons that fight free radicals. So they do multiple things. Predominantly, they decrease inflammation. That's one of the biggest benefits out of all of them. But if way back on episode 47, way back on the Cabral concept, like literally the first 2 months, I talked about olive oil and the studies about how a high quality olive oil or olives, which contains something, it's a compound, so this is what they studied, oleocanthal, can actually kill cancer cells. Now, it's very unique because remember, olive oil is a fat. It's a healthy fat. But it contains these phenols, these high phenols, these high, we'll call them antioxidants just for easy reference, that can actually pierce the outer layer of a cancer cell. And because of that, it can create something like apoptosis in the cell, which means it's signaled cell death. The cancer cell actually kills itself. It's a lysosome. So basically what I'm trying to say is this fat-soluble compound in the olive oil mixes with this oleocanthal, this high phenol compound, also known as oleocin, which is the antioxidant, that helps then kill cancer cells as well. They'll be doing more research on this. Do not wait for them to keep doing more research to be able to add in great, high-quality olive oils to your diet, okay? Again, we don't need to go overboard. 1 to 2 tablespoons is a dressing on either lunch or dinner. Really great. Daily basis. No problem with that at all. So here's the thing, though. This product, since they looked at it as more of a nutritional supplement, they actually test it. I don't know of another olive oil that does this. I really don't. They use something called nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR, to actually guarantee and test all of the phenol-based compounds, meaning like the level of that in their olive oil. And they have different potencies. I'm not a connoisseur, but we'll say that. I do love good olive oil. And it's probably because I don't drink too much alcohol. So for me, it's like, okay, what can I kind of get obsessed about? And I get obsessed then with olive oil. And when you pour this olive oil out, because I'm kind of skeptical of all these new things, I can see that it's darker in color, which is a great first sign. It's more of like a greenish color than a yellow. You want that. You want that tinted color. It comes in a dark bottle. And if an olive oil is very high quality, high phenols, it's going to hit you in the back of the throat, almost like a little bit of a peppery taste. That's how you know it's a very good quality one. And this is it. And you can also choose your level, meaning like if you're not used to using a high phenol olive oil, you might want to start with their like lower ones, which is like 800 to 1100, I believe. It's just Olea. It's OLEA blue.com. And again, I'm not a manufacturer of or anything like that. Great product. You'll want to check it out and at least something to look at. Very, very interesting. I like their work. Comes in a beautiful gift option if you ever want to gift it to someone. It's like this beautiful mesh type woven natural bag with a little serving size spoon. Absolutely fantastic. Again, great product. Check it out. Just like to know that a lot of the stuff that we talk about research wise, other companies are looking at it at another level and taking it there. And these people they're basically connoisseurs of this. They're experts in it. And so episode 47, I talked a little bit about that. And then there's another show, just want to talk about that real quick. And that was me. I'll link it up on the show notes. I do need to find that. But that was me essentially talking about how there's a lot of fake olive oils out there. There's a lot of olive oils that actually blend all sorts of different olives, and it's not a true compound. It's not a true natural extra virgin organic olive. So you want to be very, very careful of choosing those olive oils. You just want a healthy one. That's all. Okay. Couple more things. Yes, I'm going to go over a little bit in time today, but these are some of my favorite products. I do want to talk about them. All right, one of my favorite juices is, this is something I've been doing for a while lately, but I really seem to be getting into it on almost a daily basis. And it's a carrot juice. It's a ginger and it's a lemon juice. It's basically just juiced, right? So I'm using a lot of carrot, a little bit of juiced lemon, like one whole lemon, and then I'm juicing about one thumb size of ginger to give it that spice to it. But why am I doing this? Here's the reason why. I've been doing so much research really on the benefits. Well, first of all, I love the taste. Okay, that's number one. Okay, I have to like the taste. But number two, the benefits that come from consuming carrots, it's unbelievable. And it's not really something that I've ever looked into. And I don't even know why I stumbled upon this research. But essentially, when I'm looking at the research and I'm seeing that people who have a carrot every day reduce their risk of stroke by 68%, it was unbelievable. People who eat carrots, again, on a daily basis, lower their cholesterol by about an average of 11%. Same with blood pressure, all these amazing things. Carrots improve digestion, eyesight, boosts the immune system, improves cardiovascular health, helps detoxify the body naturally. It even protects against cancer. And one of the reasons why I got so into this is there are thousands of people right now, anecdotally, but they're basically juicing 5 pounds of carrots per day if they have cancer. Many people have beaten cancer doing that alone. Now, is that all I would do? No. Is that all I would suggest? No. But people are, because what they're doing is they're getting the amazingly high levels of all natural food-based beta-carotene, vitamin A. They're getting the natural vitamin C, the vitamin K, the B8, the pantothenic acid, the folate, the potassium, the iron, the copper, the manganese that all are contained within carrots. And they're getting that at a high dosage, an orthomolecular level. And that is allowing them to give their body the raw material it needs to boost its own immune system and to deal with cancer, inflammation, and other issues as it sees fit. One of my favorite juices right now, and again, if you're someone dealing with weight gain or any of those things, I know that there's some natural sugar in it. Yes, there is. So when would you do it? Well, you might do some when you wake up just to cleanse your palate. Maybe it's 4 ounces, maybe 6 ounces before your shake, of course. Or maybe do it after workout. Your body would love that after a workout. It would soak that right up. Again, if you're trying to lose weight, wait 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes after working out. You could absolutely do this nice high carrot juice. I should say carrot, lemon, and ginger. Why do I add the lemon? Lemon's great for adding alkaline minerals to the body. It's great for detoxing, especially with the liver. It's great for loosening and helping dissolve and what's the best way to say this? Watering down the bile. Contains a lot of potassium as well, so good for energy. And the ginger is just so fantastic for a kidney detox. Ginger is great for helping to clean those kidneys, good for digestion, great anti-inflammatory, and ginger helps to thin mucus and really break up mucus congestion. Big fan of it. Just add as much lemon and ginger as you can handle, and just a carrot juice. Again, any activity. You go for a run, a bike, you could absolutely do a carrot juice after that. And it's so fantastic. Okay, last one I want to bring you today, and I know I did a lot for Friday Review, but I had a lot of things that I want to talk about. These are some of my favorites. 10th anniversary edition of a book I've spoken about before. One of my favorite books that really got me to change the way I thought about our bodies. It's called The Biology of Belief. The Biology of Belief. Why is this an interesting book? Well, here's the thing. The Biology of Belief is looking at how your body actually is changing on a moment-by-moment basis. Meaning like your genes, your DNA, your cells are listening to the environment that it's in. And it's adapting to it. It's changing at a molecular level every single nanosecond. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's actually a biology professor, wrote this book quite a long time ago. They said 10th anniversary, but I believe it's even older than that. But I know I saw that in the notes when I was looking at that. And Dr. Lipton actually just has an amazing way of breaking down some of the most complex things you could even write about. He somehow bridges the gap between science, spirituality, genetics in a really approachable way. He makes things like quantum mechanics, string theory, entanglement theory, wave particle vibrations, like somehow comprehensible, right? And so when I'm first reading about this, I'm like, whoa, this is really interesting things, really interesting stuff. But he makes it approachable. And that's why I love this book. And it shows you this. So I'm not going to go on and on about this book because honestly, it's such a short read. Everyone should read this. Honestly, everyone should read this. And here's why. So it's only about 170 pages or so. It tells you this. Yes, you are born with a specific genetic code. And if you run your genetics, you know what you're susceptible to. You know that. But your environment is what changes those genetics. It's what allows for the expression of the genetics. That's called epigenetics. If you put yourself in a very stressful environment, if you put your genes, your atoms, your cells, your quarks, all of those things in an environment, it will react to that. You put in a peaceful, calm, serene, toxic-free environment, it reacts differently. Stress, the molecules change. The DNA actually moves differently. All of these things change. And that's the beautiful thing, is that there's hope for everyone. There really is. So like, let's say you're in the worst situation possible. Little by little, you start to change that situation by also your thoughts. Your thoughts affect your DNA. Your thoughts affect your genetics. They really do. All of these things matter. Everything within your environment. Remember, you're 99.99% space. You have these, again, smaller than atoms. You have these quirks. You have these nanoparticles. These molecules, again, I'm not an expert in this space, but I do study it. I do enjoy reading about it. That are constantly vibrating. That are moving in ways that we don't truly understand, but we know that the simple observation of a study changes the way in which things move. We know that we as the observer in our life changes what we see. And that changes our genetic expression. That changes our epigenetics, the way in which we can express our own genes. So that's why, really, whatever you're dealing with right now, I went through my own healing journey. I had to. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, if you have Hashimoto's, if you have an autoimmune disease, psoriasis, headaches, eczema, weight gain, whatever it might be, that is right now an expression of your environment, of your life. And again, it's real. Don't get me wrong. It's real. Like, I was suffering from a real thing, and you probably are right now too. But I'm telling you this right now. That can be fixed, and honestly can. What you need to do is start to change your psychology, the way that you think, the way that you see the world. But you also need to change your physiology. Remember, it's not made up if you have candida overgrowth. It's not made up if you have bacterial overgrowth. It's not made up if you have intestinal permeability. It's not made up if you have an immune system dysfunction. None of that is made up. That needs to be corrected, physiology as well as psychology, and the way overall the environment that we sit in. All of that has to change. But when it does change, so do your genetics. You don't have to be prone to breast cancer, even if everyone else in your family has it. You don't have to be prone to colon cancer. I mean, like, yes, you can be prone to it, but that doesn't mean you have to get it. You don't. It is you who allows for the expression of that. And that's a hard thing to grasp. That's a hard thing to accept, that we have that much power. But really we do. And that's the beautiful thing as well, is because as long as you're willing to take control of your life and your health, then you get to choose that expression. And it's not always easy. I'm not saying it is either. But the nice thing is that we're the sum of all of our actions, so we don't have to be perfect all the time. We can be good about 90% of the time, and we're still going to be on the straight path, the healthy path. And that's good enough for me. All right, so that was enough for today's show. I do thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I love the Friday reviews. Love being able to bring you a little bit of my world, what I use in my practice, and just some of the things that I enjoy as well. The books, the supplements, the nutritional products, the protocols, all of that. And so again, if this was helpful, please do feel free to pass it on to anyone else you believe it would serve as well. Take care, everyone. Thank you for just tuning in to another Cabral Concept. As a valued listener, during the month of April, I'd like to send you one of the exclusive online personal training workout packages I've created for my private clients all around the world. They're literally the same travel and bodyweight workouts I create for celebrities, athletes, and executive CEOs to stay in shape, whether at home, in the gym, or on the road. Plus, I also want to ship you the same exact 5-piece resistance band set I send them as well. They're also the same bands I use at my home and when traveling. You cannot buy this online band workout package anywhere else. The home and travel band exercise set with the online workout is only available exclusively through the StephenCabral.com/store and is yours free of charge when you purchase any functional medicine lab test. You can choose from any of our popular food sensitivity tests, organic acid test, hair tissue mineral analysis, adrenal and hormone, thyroid, weight loss testing, vitamin D, inflammation, parasite, genetic testing, the toxicity test, and many more. We mail all labs to you in the US, Canada, and the UK, and each one of these labs can be done right at home with a simple urine, hair, stool, finger poke, or saliva sample. You'll get your results in just a few weeks after mailing in your at-home lab test, and we even provide a complimentary health coaching phone consultation with most lab kit packages. To put functional medicine to work for you and find the underlying root causes keeping you from total body health and wellness, I can't recommend lab testing enough. Plus, as a bonus this month, you'll be getting my resistance band package with the online workout to do right at home, at the gym, or when traveling. Just go to StephenCabral.com/store for details and to get yours today.